Alright guys, we're going to talk a little compost. So this is not your traditional compost pile. Before we get into this is what I did before. So took some pallets and used all these little pallets as little individual bays and did all this compost rotation and whatnot. And here I do have a pile in here. There's some stuff in here going. This is mostly just stuff from the chicken coop that I haven't dealt with yet in a fashion more like this. So this here is pretty simplistic. You could certainly do this too. I used pallets and cut them in half, and I basically just put these little tabs on the ends of the door parts of the pallets, and then these are just little things for them to slide into. So I've got tops and bottoms to each of them. But here's what I'm now doing, and let me tell you, this is a game changer when I learned about this. So you can look up something called Johnson-Su bioreactor, and it's a way more complicated thing, but this is basically a simplified version of it. So essentially we've got wire fencing. This is 4 feet high. You put all your material in here. This works best with some type of animal input, like bedding from the chickens, food scraps that they've kicked around and have, decayed a little bit, stuff like that. But animal inputs help a lot because it's tons of nitrogen and then all the heat from the breakdown of it and whatnot. But anyways, so what happens here is you build this up. Now this is flattened down a bit, and I have used a little bit of this compost as well already. But what happens is you fill this all up. As you're filling it up, you put something like this. These are 4-inch perforated drain pipes that I got from a guy for crazy cheap. So they've got holes all the way down, just on 2 sides. So on the back side, I just cut slits in them. And what this does is provides a ton of aeration. So you've got aeration from the outside. Now some people will do kind of on the inside of this fencing. Some people will do kind of like a weed cloth, which I will probably try next time, just to kind of see what happens. And some people also build the pile on a pallet so that there's that much more aeration happening. And essentially what this is composting without ever having to turn it. You can have a compost pile just sitting there, but it's what's called a anaerobic compost. So basically it's composting without oxygen. So you end up having actually pretty bad compost, and it can sometimes be not so great to have in the garden and whatnot. So what this allows is for maximum aeration. I've got a hose here. What I want to get is one of those little sprinklers, one of those little cheap round ones. It can sit right here. Now the next time I do this, I'm gonna keep the one in the center, but it's gonna have 4 instead of 3. If you kind of see from above, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 total. So the next time around I'm gonna do 5, just to increase that aeration. But let me tell you, this went from fresh material to finished compost in, let me think, 6 weeks. And we can kind of dig in here a little bit right now, and you can just kind of see the top. If you look at it from this top layer, it's kind of dried out a little bit. But if I just go down just a little bit, I mean, look at that. This is moist, beautiful compost. There's a lot of life in here too. There's all sorts of bugs and whatnot moving around in here. I've actually used some of this compost to dump right back into the chicken area so they can eat all the bugs in there. But I mean, you can see some creatures wiggling around in there right now. It's just full of life and organic matter. So this is the best compost I have ever created by a long shot. And this actually isn't even the proper amount of animal input. I only had very, very little. So it's mostly just, crap from around the yard, wood chips, things like that. But yeah, so I just want to show that to you guys. If you're into gardening, growing, composting, especially if you got any types of animals, chickens, rabbits, whatever. Actually, rabbit manure you can just throw right into the garden, but you could compost it too. That would definitely help the compost. But yeah, so that's what I got for you. The big thing is you've got to keep it moist, which is why I've got the hose here. We've had plenty of rain, so I'm all set in that front. But yeah, guys. Oh, also I had a compost thermometer stuck in here, and pretty much right after I built this pile, I had temperatures up to around 120 degrees, which is pretty damn good. It could be a little higher. That's where the animal inputs come in, because when you throw that animal manure in there, it allows the compost to cook hotter, just, the phosphorus, nitrogen, all that. But yeah, guys, that's compost. That's some real good, cool compost. So next video, I'm going to tell you how this integrates with the chicken coop and the bedding. But until next time.